You know those people who believe the world revolves around them, who shout, threaten, and try to control everything and everyone around them? Yes, we are talking about the famous Karens. However, things do not always happen the way they imagine. In some situations, they end up having the misfortune of crossing paths with the wrong people, and the result can be hilarious, embarrassing, or even deeply humiliating. That is exactly what we are going to see here today. A discussion on a plane between two passengers went viral on social media due to the amount of seat space. In the footage recorded by another passenger, we see the woman arguing with the man sitting in front of her, claiming that he was taking up too much space with his reclined seat. From that point on, she starts to shake the man's chair, becomes increasingly stressed, and provokes him in an extremely inconvenient manner. Irritated, he stands up and decides to get revenge by sitting behind her and forcefully pushing her seat back. The woman certainly did not expect such a reaction from the man, and for that very reason, is left startled by the situation. A woman was caught inside an establishment causing utter chaos. In the recording, she appears being literally carried out of the premises after supposedly provoking and threatening the employees present. After they tried to reason with her and asked her to leave voluntarily, she refused, and, as a result, ended up being removed by force by an employee who lost patience and decided to handle the problem with his own hands.
Bye-bye, white girl!
The video filmed by another customer shows the exact moment when the employee carries the woman out, and the footage quickly went viral on the internet. A woman completely out of her mind decided to attack a protester who was taking part in a demonstration and ended up paying the price. As we can see in the images, she lunges at the protester full force, apparently ignoring the fact that he was standing next to a police officer, and it is precisely for that reason that she gets into trouble, since the officer notices her attitude and immediately reprimands her. The woman is subdued and handcuffed on the spot.
Listen to the police.
So that's what she was doing.
Daddy, stop!
So that's what she was doing when she got punched in the face.
Even after being handcuffed, she still tries to resist arrest, but the officer becomes even more irritated, and in the end, she is escorted to the station. A woman went to a fast food restaurant to eat and, when it was time to leave, simply wanted to walk out without paying for what she had consumed. She claimed she had problems and invented various excuses, such as having forgotten her wallet at home, stating that she would not be able to pay at that moment. She insisted on leaving and promised to return later to settle the bill. The owner of the establishment, noticing the woman's reluctance and suspecting a possible scam, decided to call the police, and, in the end, the woman really got into trouble. The police arrived at the establishment, spoke with the woman, tried to convince her to pay for what she had consumed, but she continued making up excuses and had to be taken to the station. A woman showed up annoyed by her neighbor's new purchase and decided to confront him at his front door. In the video recorded by the man himself, we see the neighbor approaching while he is washing the yard and questioning him about why he had bought a truck of that size, since, according to her, the size of the vehicle could damage the condominium's pavement and cause other problems. The man, however, disagrees and manages to silence the woman, who nevertheless insists on the argument.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying that we have a strict policy about washing the cars in the driveway. We don't allow it.
In the end, as can be noticed, he ends up insulting the woman and expels her from his doorstep, claiming that she should not have been there. Thus, she leaves upset. A woman was driving a truck on a highway when, recklessly, she caused a minor accident. In the footage taken by the victim's dashcam, an elderly man, we see the woman coming up on his right and cutting him off completely, hitting his mirror, which ended up being ripped off by the impact. Irritated, the man pulls over and goes to confront the woman, who also stops a bit further ahead. Even though she was at fault, she insists on complaining, believing she was in the right, which forces the man to call the police. As we see, the police arrive at the scene and approach the woman, who tries to justify herself but is rude to the officers and, because of that, ends up being handcuffed. Even after being handcuffed, she tries to resist and is taken into custody. A completely inappropriate woman tries to prevent a street vendor from performing his job with dignity. In the video recorded by the vendor himself, we see the woman approaching and displaying racist behavior, even humiliating him and trying to forbid him from coming down the street with his cart where he sold his food. Not understanding anything, the vendor confronts her while she humiliates him. Not satisfied with being racist, she even demands that he speak English. After all, according to her, they were in the United States of America, and therefore, the native language should be used.
No. What? Go away. Go.
The recording exposes all of the woman's intolerance, something regrettable that was exposed on the internet and generated a massive public cancellation against her. A man and his friend were in a supermarket filming content for social media when a woman noticed the situation and approached to complain. She asks what he was doing there and, upon noticing the camera, starts to protest, saying she did not want to be filmed and that if he continued she would call the police. But wait a minute, ma'am, if you did not want to appear in the footage, would it not have been easier simply not to have approached? Go figure. She continues questioning and asking what he was doing there with a fishing rod in his hand. Annoyed by so many questions that were none of her business, he starts to make up some stories, stating that it was a television program set up with the police to arrest a criminal on the premises, and the woman ends up believing everything.
To catch a predator.
What's a what?
To catch a predator.
Catch a predator of what?
It's a TV show.
Yeah.
It's a TV show. It's To Catch a Predator, where people predate on young children.
Furthermore, he even says that his cameraman is mute, which obviously is not true, but she believes it and the situation becomes even funnier. At the end of the video, she only reiterates that she does not want to appear in the footage, but as we can see, she ends up appearing and, to make matters worse, the moment resonates everywhere. One of those reality show-worthy scenes happened when a daddy's girl was stopped by the police while driving a Tesla. The young woman was intoxicated and ended up staging an arrogant spectacle with the police. The situation began when the officers stopped the car because the Karen was driving above the speed limit. She then refused to accept arrest and was heard saying, "This island is mine," while remaining seated at the wheel and speeding off. A police chase ensued, and when she was caught, the woman was detained.
Dad!
When the spoiled girl's father arrived at the scene, he stated that there was nothing that could be done. In the end, there was no island that could save her. The Karen was charged with numerous offenses, including resisting arrest, fleeing from the police, and driving under the influence of alcohol, totaling $110,000 in bail. The scene, of course, became the talk of the entire island. After all, when the little princess of the city misbehaves, everyone finds out. A woman was caught by other customers inside a convenience store at the moment she was freaking out at one of the clerks. In the footage taken by a person standing right behind her, we can see the woman demanding the inclusion of a discount coupon to reduce her final purchase price. However, as we know, coupons have an expiration date and hers was already invalid. That is, it was worthless. The clerk explained the situation and she simply freaked out, screaming and cursing, demanding that the young man find a way to apply her coupon. But as he himself explained, it was not up to him. The system no longer accepted it. There was nothing to be done. Even so, the explanations were not enough to calm the woman, who continued her tantrum on site. With all that turmoil, other customers tried to calm her down, with an elderly man approaching to explain that the clerk was just doing his job and that she needed to calm down. She lowered her voice but continued complaining, and only after some time, realizing she had no alternative, she decided to leave. Once again, a woman tried to leave an establishment without paying for what she had consumed and ended up getting into trouble. In the video recorded by other customers and later by the police, we see the woman at the cashier claiming that she had no money at that moment and inventing various excuses, which were evidently not accepted by the owner of the place. Irritated, he called the police, who tried to resolve the situation but without success. The woman was taken to the station. The police tried in every way for her to pay her debt to the establishment, but she insisted on stalling and, in the end, the officers ended up siding with the owner. In another situation also recorded by someone present on site, we can see a woman in a hospital waiting room completely enraged, venting her dissatisfaction on anyone in front of her. In the images, she already appears standing, walking back and forth and talking to herself, until a woman seated next to her questions her impatience. At that moment, she approaches the other woman's face and screams very loudly, cursing her and practically spitting in her face. Tired of the situation, the security guard approaches and puts her in her place, ordering her to sit and remain quiet, otherwise she would be expelled with pleasure.
You hear me? If you stay in this chair, get the out!
According to information, she was upset about the delay in service, which is why she started to revolt. The guard warned her several times that she could not cause a commotion there, but she preferred to disobey and ended up receiving a good moral lesson. A man decided to have a small gathering and host friends at his house, which is absolutely normal, except if you have a Karen neighbor like the one in the video. In the recording made by the resident, we see the moment when one of the friends arrives on the street outside his house and the neighbor greets him with insults and kicks to the car. She appears extremely irritated, and the man asks her to calm down. Soon after, she runs toward the neighbor's front door, delivers a hard kick, and rings the doorbell. The resident removes the window guard and appears questioning what was happening. She approaches, saying he could not have a party there, but he explains that he was just receiving friends and was not having any party. The woman continues complaining and insulting, but does not prevent the neighbor from receiving whoever he pleases. After all, the house is his. According to reports, the woman still insisted for quite a while on trying to prevent the alleged party of the neighbor. However, the police were called, the officers spoke with her, and she finally calmed down. According to family accounts, she suffered from a mental disorder that caused her to have episodes. Fortunately, everything was resolved. A woman was driving her vehicle when she decided to stop to commit blatant racism, even knowing that everything was being filmed. In the video made by the victim, the woman, who had already been confronting and humiliating him for no reason, enters her vehicle and tries to drive away, but he starts filming. Realizing she is being recorded, she feels challenged, stops the car, and starts cursing him, humiliating him further, and committing more racist acts, all captured by the man. The video quickly spread across the internet, and the woman was exposed to the whole world, suffering a massive public backlash. According to some information, the man reported her and she was later arrested. Some people were shopping peacefully at Walmart. Everything seemed absolutely normal, until suddenly, a woman entered to make the day of those present, let's say, more unusual. Footage taken by other customers shows the woman entering the establishment already creating chaos. She shouts, walks hurriedly, curses anyone who crosses her path, and says she needs food. However, do not think that she asks for food politely. She simply screams for the entire supermarket to hear that she needs food. Obviously, everyone present stops to watch the situation and even moves away, fearing what she might do. The woman wanders around the place for a few minutes, leaving everyone concerned and frightened. Everything was recorded, shared, and of course, went viral.
She tripping. Damn, she is tripping up in here.
In the images, we also see the man filming joking about the situation, but she hears him and curses him, shouting even louder. The video ends apparently without resolution, but according to information, the police were called, and she was contained, taken to the station, and her family was notified. According to some rumors, it was reported that the woman suffered from mental disorders, and for that reason acted that way, but nothing was officially declared. Don't forget to subscribe so you can watch more videos like this.